Alright guys, BigPoppa T-Mo here. Hey, how's it going? How are you doing today? We're going to be playing a little Farm Sim 22 on one of my favorite maps of all time. That is No Man's Land. We are doing this as a new farmer, kind of a little bit of a struggle. We got a whopping $100,000 to our name. We own one little piece of land. We have the farm that our great uncle Buford left us. And we're going to have to bring this into a profitable farm in some way, shape, or form. I do have a couple mods that I'm going to be using, but nothing too spectacular. I'm not going to go overboard on anything, but we're going to kind of play this the way that it was meant to be played, and that is not super easy. So we do have a couple pieces of equipment. We've got the busted ass hoopty pickup truck, 29% damage. We have the Steyr beat up old tractor. Couple pieces of equipment left behind, cultivator, plow. We got ourselves a nice little dump. We got a Rossel mash and a header. Then we have a little seeder. And that's all we've got. So we've got to make this work, guys. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and jump right on into the Steyr. Start this bad boy up. And I'm thinking what we really ought to do, we're going to cultivate first. And then we're going to plow. Because I want to show you guys, what the different things do and how it looks. Let's pick up our cultivator here. We got a field of withered potatoes. That's not going to do us very good. We got to go ahead and cultivate through this. This is going to bring up a whole bunch of rocks. This is going to bring up a whole bunch of rocks. I don't know what we're going to do about the stones, because I don't know that we can afford a stone picker right off the bat. We shall see. I'm going to try and play this fairly realistically. I have a lot of experience playing Farm Sim. Um, this is pretty much the main title on my Facebook gaming page. This is what I live stream quite often. And I put in more than 3,000 hours on FS19 before 22 was released. So I've done a fair bit of digital farming. I've never farmed in real life. Never farmed in real life, but I have farmed a lot of pixels. So we're going to go ahead and do our best on this little farm. Have to see what we can get done here. Now we don't have a lot of fuel. All of our equipment is damaged. Uncle Buford didn't leave us the best stuff in the world. He used the heck out of this. But I see a lot of potential. I really do see a lot of potential for this. I think we can make this a profitable farm. I think we can. I really do. It's just going to take some time and some effort. Now, I do not know how long we can go before the fieldstone prevents us from doing anything. I don't even know if it does. Don't know if the fieldstone will prevent us from actually successfully doing anything, but we may find out because, like I said, I don't know if we can afford the stone picker. We're going to have to figure out what to do for some money, too. $100,000, while it sounds like a lot, from a farming perspective, that is only going to get us so far. I don't even think that would cover the cost to repair everything into good working condition and refuel everything. I honestly do not. You might have to rely on the good graces of the bank and lending institutions. Don't plan on taking out a loan, but we might have to lease some equipment. Not my favorite way to do stuff, but sometimes that's how you gotta do it. Can't afford to buy it, but you need it. Gotta get it. Might as well lease it. Alright, just doing the outer edges there. Not the biggest piece of equipment. Definitely going to take some time with this little cultivator. Small cultivator and a small field. Small tractor. Now this map was made by Alien Jim. I think this is one of the best maps for Farm Sim ever created because you can do whatever you want to do with it. While we have this one little field here already done and ready to go for us, we can pretty much do whatever we want out here. All we got to do is plow the soil, make some fields, plant some crops, we'll be good to go. Now this is going to be a series. This is episode 1 of said series. And pretty much everything I do on this is going to be recorded. Now the only thing that I will do to make things a little nicer, I don't really like recording at night. So we will use the time adjustment to speed up time overnight sometimes. Now I'll normally do that off camera, but I'm not going to be using any money mods. I'm not going to be using any really unrealistic things. About the only mod that I'm going to be using that is slightly unrealistic is going to be the lumberjack mod, so that I can delete the tree stumps with the chainsaw. The lumberjack mod is one of my favorite mods. Now when I open up the mod folder, you'll see that I do have a whole bunch of stuff in here. That's just because the way FS22 works, my dedicated server that I have my community map on, all my mods for that are in here as well. And I did not deactivate them when I started the game. I'll probably deactivate them in the future so that they're not even available to us. But don't worry, you'll be able to see everything. You will be able to see everything. So if you don't have a chance to catch any of my live streams, you can always come and check out some of the things that I'm doing on the farm here. Try and keep you occupied. Give you something to watch, something to listen to. Excuse me. Now you guys might notice up in the top left corner, you can see my controls. It's actually set for PS2, or PS2, PS4, because I use a PS4 controller. I do play with a PS4 controller. I find it more comfortable personally. I started playing this game on PS4. I started playing FS19 on PS4 about 3 years ago. And I got so used to it. I mean, I have a steering wheel set up and I have a mouse and keyboard and everything because I am playing on PC. But I prefer it. So before you ask, the controls look like PS4 because I am using a controller. Now, if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to say anything you want in the comments. If you ask me a question, if you want me to try something out, test something out, if you see me do something a different way from what you're used to, or if you want to see something tried out, please let me know. I'm more than happy to listen to comments, suggestions, criticisms, everything else like that. And I'm also here to try and help. So if you need some help, let me know and I'll try and figure out a solution to whatever problem you may have. It is one of my favorite things to do. It's actually one of the reasons I got into streaming. I was very, very surprised that I enjoyed this game. This was not my original type of game that I would play. I prefer survival games. I play a whole bunch of them, and I also like space games. I like spaceships. I like exploring planets and solar systems and galaxies and all that other fun stuff. And a friend of mine said, you know, hey, you might really, really enjoy this game. I was like, farm sim. Why would I want to? Why would I want to play a video game about being a farmer? That just sounds so boring. It's not that it's boring. What it is it's very relaxing. I find this game to be extremely soothing. Had a bad day at work? Go jump on the farm. Go toil in the digital fields for a couple hours. You'll feel better about yourself. Heck yeah. Got a whole bunch of friends now that are actual real life farmers that I've met through Farm Sim. They all play this. Like, why would you want to play a game where, you know, you do that for real life? And they find it to be very relaxing as well. Mainly because they don't have the same problems that they have, you know, in the real world. They don't have to worry about the actual cost of crop damage or something like that, or the cost of fertilizer, repairs on their harvester, or anything else like that. But I was very surprised at how many real life farmers actually play this game. I was very, very surprised. Alright, so that was the cultivator. Now, I've never been a big fan of using the weights. I know they definitely serve their real world purpose. Don't get me wrong. I know what the weights on the front of a tractor are for, or on the back of a tractor. But I've always found that the game itself kind of compensates for it. Alright, now we're going to pick up my least favorite tool in the whole game, and that is a diagonal plow. I cannot stand diagonal plows. These are my least favorite tools. Now, a little section like this one, really not that big of a deal. A little guy. There we go. But not a very big fan of diagonal plows. Now, I do have one mod in here. Whoops, I'm veering off to the side here. You have another mod in here that we will probably start using. And it's probably going to be the first one that we purchase. And that is going to be the Lizard 6 or 9 meter subsoiler. And I like that because it is a straight blade ripper. But I want to see what we've got. What was left behind on the farm for turning some soil. Main reason I don't like straight blade plow or diagonal plows like this is because I suck at them. Plain and simple. I am horrible with these things, especially creating a new field. Now we are going to be turning some soil. We do not have access to that land, really. That's kind of strange. We should. It's on our land. Maybe I was just too far over. And there's actually there is another mod that I do have on here that I am going to insist that I use, and that is the Fiat Agri 180-90 um, tractor. I've got one with my logo on it. I will be acquiring one of those in the very, very near future. Nothing says loving like a big Poppa T-Mo angry Fiat, as I call them. It even has a special horn. Alright, now with FS22, they changed an awful lot from what FS19 was. And the big thing that they did was they added the seasons aspect of the game. I have turned the seasonal growth off, so plant withering is also off. I don't have to worry about that anymore. But I've also set my weeks to be 7 days, or my months to be 7 days. And we're going to run this pretty long, so it's not going to be a real quick, you know, plant, farm, plant, or plant, harvest, plant, harvest, plant, harvest, and just lather, rinse, repeat. We're gonna actually delve into how a lot of stuff goes on the game, but in doing so, like I said, I am going to be using the time, speed up time, so that we will probably have to fast forward through a couple things, especially early on, because there's only so much that I can do. Now, there is plenty of stuff to do at the very beginning. I do have to figure out a way to make money, and one of those ways to make money is going to be selling timber. And the easiest way to do that is to just go out and cut down trees and stuff like that, throw them in the back of the truck, and then go sell that. The other thing that we're going to do is I'm gonna cut grass. I'm a big fan of mowing in this game, but what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out what to do about you know, how to bale it and stuff like that, and what to do once we do. Now, I also have a super strength mod on here, strongman mod. I don't know whether or not I'm going to use that, or whether I'm going to restrict myself to, you know, actually getting forks and stuff like that, or front loaders. We'll deal with that when we come to it. We're going to come to that question pretty quickly too. This is the other reason I hate these little diagonal plows. They take quite a while to do a field. Now, I do realize I did this kind of backwards. I really should have plowed it first and then cultivated it second. But there's a reason I did that. It helps me with the textures the first time. And I figured, since, you know, we're plowing under a whole bunch of potatoes anyways, just going to work it all into the soil as much as we can. Turn that into as much natural fertilizer. I also want to see how much of the stone comes up out of the ground while we do this. Now, the field stone is one of the more interesting things they added. You can turn field stone off if you want. I actually really enjoy that mechanic. I even enjoy having a nice little stone picker to haul behind, pick up the rocks and stuff like that, and then use those. Now, what I do with the rocks is I have the rock crusher that can turn it into lime. So basically, we're pulling out chunks of limestone out of the ground. We use the rock crusher to turn that into lime, and then save a little bit of money on that. That's actually a pretty nice mod. See, now I'm talking about a whole bunch of different mods. Now, one of my favorite mods from FS19 was the Real Mower mod. And what I really liked about the Real Mower mod is when you ran over the bushes and such, the Real Mower mod would cut the bushes down and they wouldn't grow back. They have not yet gotten that mod back yet. The gentleman that's the original designer, I believe, is currently working on it. Giants changed a whole lot of their coding on stuff. So the modders are it's not that they're taking their time, they're all working really, really hard on stuff, but they have to get used to a whole new way of doing things. So we have to be patient with some of the mods coming out. Take their time. I was super pleased that Alien Jim, though, put this mod map out as quickly as he did. That this was the first one to come out through Mod Hub. That made me very, very happy. Because I had already gotten, I'd gotten a little frustrated with FS22 right off the bat because of some of the glitches that they were having. We had already broken one of the maps. We had put too many animal pens too close together and it was causing some serious lag and graphical issues. And then I also had a whole bunch of issues with the trees, where you cut the trees down and they would form into these random geometric shapes, and that was not pretty at all. And I basically walked away from the game for a couple weeks. I took a 2-week break from Farm Sim 22 right after it released, and then I saw that No Man's Land was coming back out, and this is what brought me back. So I figured if I was going to do an update to my YouTube channel's Farm Sim videos, I might as well start off with No Man's Land. Now you guys can actually go back and watch older videos from FS19. You can watch some of my very first streams on here, playing No Man's Sky and Farm Sim, and come a long way, really, to have. But there's an awful lot of time on No Man's Land. Awful lot of time on No Man's Land. I probably put 500 hours on this map. I really, really enjoyed it. I think Alien Jim did a wonderful job with it. I started playing it as soon as it came out originally, and have never stopped. This field's starting to look pretty nice, even with all these stones in here. Definitely taking some time to get this done now. We're only about halfway done with the plow job. Now, if you're new to the channel or new to BigPoppaTMo Gaming, one thing you will learn pretty quick is I don't do fast-forwarded videos. I won't plow this whole field and then fast-forward it so that it only takes 30 seconds in the video. I do everything pretty much real-time, and I record just about everything. Sometimes that even involves some technical difficulties, because I figure if they really happen with the game, you guys might as well know about them and see them. I don't try and hide anything from anybody. I have no vested interest in any of the games that I play. I don't work for any of the companies. They didn't give me any games for free. I bought every one of them. I am not their PR department to try and hide the problems. So if I find a problem, I'll show it to you. Oh, I pulled out of that a little early. Let's get back in there and get that. One of the things I've been curious about, and I still have yet to test, is the field stone, whether or not they prevent you from effectively doing anything on the map. I know they show up as red spots. When you look at the map, it will show you where the stones are showing, but I don't know if it actually prevents proper yield or what. So I kind of want to test that. We may have to test that on this one, especially since we're not going to be able to afford the stone picker. I know I said that a little bit earlier in the video, but the more and more I look at this, the more and more I realize this field may be the perfect one to test that on. To never try and pick up the stones on this and just see how many stones keep coming out. If it will eventually just fill up the whole field or what. I'm not sure how they did that game mechanic. Not quite sure how they did that game mechanic. Now, a lot of people I know also have just been using the cultivators to turn their fields. Not everybody uses the plows, the subsoilers, or the spaders. I have a personal preference for the spader. I like the spader a lot. I think the spader is a great addition to the tools available to us. I like the visual effect that it gives, and I like the fact that it does a deep turn on the soil and pulls up a lot of rock. I look forward to actually acquiring a spader for the farm. But we're going to need a much bigger tractor. We're going to need a much bigger purse of money before we can afford that. For now, we're going to be mainly using used equipment, and we're probably going to end up leasing a whole bunch of stuff, which is going to be kind of a new challenge for me personally. I've never been a big fan of leasing stuff. Never been opposed to it, but I always just kind of forget about it. I don't tend to do something until I can afford to buy the equipment to do it. But I may try something a little bit different. We'll see how it goes. All right, just a couple more passes and we will be all plowed up on this field. This little Steyr is definitely doing his job. Getting our money's worth out of this one. I went all sorts of crooked on that last pass. That last pass was not straight. I'll try and do better. I do have periodic plowing required on too, so we actually do have to plow. Can't get away with just doing the cultivator every time. This is a job necessity. All right. There we go with the final pass on that one. It's looking pretty good. Definitely looks better than with a whole bunch of wilted potatoes in it. For sure. For sure. All right. There we go, our nice little dirty tractor. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the first episode. Thanks again for all the love and support. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Appreciate you swinging on by. If you like what you see, make sure you like the video. If you haven't already, you might want to subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification. Get notified every time I go live or upload some new content. Really do appreciate your time. Till next time, go plow your own damn fields.